Okay, let's dive in. If you're involved with a Canadian registered charity, you know there's a lot to manage. Beyond the mission itself, there are rules, regulations.
Hmm. Definitely. And one area that might seem simple, but isn't, is the fiscal year end. It's not just an internal bookkeeping thing.
Exactly. You can't just decide, hey, let's change our year end. There's a process, and it involves the Canada Revenue Agency, specifically the Charities Directorate.
That's right. It's all tied into their oversight and how charities report their activities. It's fundamental to the system.
So today we're going to unpack that process. Think of this as a friendly roadmap for any Canadian registered charity looking to change its fiscal year end according to the CRA's rules. We want you to feel confident, not overwhelmed.
Good plan. Staying compliant is key.
Right. And to get us started, let's do a quick chat. 10 questions to get you thinking, and we'll answer them as we go. First, why can't a charity just change its fiscal year end whenever it wants without asking the Charities Directorate?
Good starting point.
Second, what are the two main ways a charity can officially request this change? Third, if you go the online route, using My Business Account, MyBA, where do you actually explain why you want the change?
Okay.
Fourth, if you opt for sending a letter instead, what specific details absolutely must be in it? Fifth, and crucially, where should you definitely not send that letter?
Oh, that's an important one. Common mistake.
Sixth, what exactly is this transition period that happens when a fiscal year end changes? Seventh, how does a charity handle filing for that specific transition time?
Right, that's short period.
Eighth, why is it so important to submit the request to change the date as soon as the decision is made? What's the rush?
Timing matters.
Ninth, what if the charity's own rule book, its governing documents, actually spell out the fiscal year end? What then?
Ah, the internal alignment piece.
Yes,
Yeah.
and finally, 10th, is there a general rule about how long a charity's fiscal year can be? Like a maximum length? Keep those questions in mind.
Okay, let's tackle that first one. Why the need for permission? Why can't you just change it? Well, it boils down to accountability and consistent reporting.
Accountability. How so?
Well, the fiscal year end dictates when your charity files its T3010 annual information return. The Charities Directorate relies on these filings arriving predictably to oversee the entire sector.
Ah, okay. So it's about their ability to monitor things effectively. If dates changed constantly without notice, it would be chaos for them.
Exactly. It ensures, a level playing field for reporting and transparency. It's part of the public trust aspect. They need that consistent schedule.
Makes sense from a regulatory view.
That's
Okay, so if a charity needs to change it, how do they actually request it? That was question 2.
right. There are two main paths the Charities Directorate lays out. The first one, and often the easiest, is digital.
Using their online portal?
Yeah, the My Business Account or My BA portal. It's generally quicker.
Okay, the digital route.
Yeah.
So for charities using MyBA, where do they go within the portal, and how do they explain the reason for the change? That was question 3.
Inside MyBA, you'll look for a section specifically for this. It's usually called something like Change Organization's Fiscal Period End. Pretty clear.
And the explanation part.
Within that online process, there's a text box. That's your spot to lay out why you need the change and provide, the context and necessary details. That explanation matters to the directorate.
Right, so you give them the why. Okay, but what about charities that maybe aren't set up for MyBA or prefer paper, the traditional letter route?
Yeah.
Question 4 was about the essentials for that letter. What absolutely have to be in there?
Okay, for the letter method, you need to be precise. First, the charity's full legal name and its RRR account number. That's its registration number. Very important.
Got it. Name and number. What else?
Second, the exact new fiscal year-end date you're proposing. Don't be vague, like March 31st, not just end of March.
Okay, specific date. Third.
You need to state the year the change will first take effect. Is it starting for the year ending in 2026, 2027? Be clear.
Right, the effective year. And lastly,
It needs an official signature. Someone who is an authorized representative of the charity has to sign it.
okay, so name, number, new date, effective year, and authorized signature. Seems straightforward enough. But you flagged question 5 earlier. Where should this letter not go?
Yes, this is critical for avoiding headaches. The Charities Director explicitly says, do not include this request letter with your annual T3010 information return.
Don't just tuck it in the same envelope.
No, send it separately. They are handled by different parts of the directorate, or at least through different processes.
Why is that separation so vital? What happens if you bundle them?
If you include it with the annual return, it's likely to get delayed significantly. The return goes into the general processing queue, and your fiscal year-end change request might just sit there unseen by the right people for a while.
Ah, so it could get lost in the shuffle, basically, and delay the approval you need.
Exactly. Sending it separately ensures it gets routed correctly and reviewed promptly by the team that handles these specific changes. It streamlines things.
Okay, that's a really practical tip. Keep those requests separate. Now, let's talk about the time between the old year-end and the new one. Question 6. What is the transition period?
Right, the transition period. It's simply the time frame from the end of your last full fiscal year under the old date up to the beginning of your first fiscal year under the new date.
So it bridges the gap.
Precisely. And the key thing is, this transition period will always be shorter than 12 months. It has to be. It's like a mini fiscal period.
Okay, a short bridging period, less than a year. So how does a charity report on its activities during this specific shorter time frame? That was question 7. Do they just lump it in somewhere?
No, they can't just lump it in or skip it. The CRA requires a separate, complete T3010 information return just for that transition period.
Another filing.
Yes, it covers all the financial activity, all the operations, just for those specific months of the transition. It ensures there's no gap in the reporting history. Full accountability, year after year, even during a change.
Got it. So an extra return for that short period ensures a complete picture. Now, you mentioned timing earlier. Question 8 was about why you should submit the request to change the date as soon as possible.
Yes, promptness is really key here. The reason is simple. The Charities Directorate has to approve your requested change before they can process any returns based on it.
Ah, so they need to okay the new date first.
Correct. They can't process the return for your transition period or the return for your first new fiscal year until that change is officially approved in their system. If you delay asking, you delay your ability to file properly.
Which could lead to late filing penalties or other issues down the line.
Potentially, yes. It just creates unnecessary backlog and stress. So, decision made. Get the request in.
Good advice. Be proactive. Okay, let's think about the charity's own internal rules. Question 9. What if the governing documents, the bylaws, articles of incorporation actually specify the fiscal year end?
That's a really important layer. If your official documents state a specific fiscal year end, getting the CRA's approval is just step 1.
Just step 1. What else?
You also have a legal obligation to formally amend those governing documents. Your internal rules need to match your external reporting reality.
So you have to actually change your own bylaws or articles.
Yes, following whatever process is required by your incorporating statute or internal rules for making amendments, you need that internal alignment.
Okay, makes sense. Change the docs. Is that it for the documents?
Almost. One more step. Once those governing documents are officially amended to show the new fiscal year end, you need to send a certified copy of the updated document to the Charities Directorate.
A certified copy. Why?
It provides them with official proof that your internal rules now match the fiscal year end they have on file for you. It closes the loop and confirms everything is consistent legally and for reporting.
Right. Proof of internal change shared externally. Got it. Okay, last of our quick check questions, number 10. Is there a general rule about how long a charity's fiscal year can actually be?
Yes, there is. The standard expectation, the guideline from the Charities Directorate, is that a registered charity's fiscal period should not be longer than 12 months.
Not longer than 12 months.
Correct. So when you propose a change, the resulting new fiscal year and all subsequent ones should still stick to that 12-month maximum. The transition period will be shorter, but the regular years shouldn't exceed 12 months.
Excellent. Okay, I think we've covered all those initial questions now. That gives a really solid framework. Maybe we should quickly recap some key terms we've used just to cement understanding.
Good idea. Let's run through them. First, registered charity. That's an organization the CRA has officially registered, allowing it to issue donation receipts and operate under specific charity rules.
Okay, and fiscal period end or fiscal year end?
That's the specific date your charity's financial year ends for accounting and filing the T3010 return, like December 31st or March 31st.
Got it. Charities Directorate.
That's the specific part of the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, that oversees and regulates registered charities in Canada. They're the ones you're dealing with for this change.
Right. filing obligations.
These are simply the reports and information charities are legally required to submit, primarily the annual T3010 return, but also includes things like this fiscal year-end change request.
Makes sense. My business account, MyBA.
That's the CRA's secure online portal. Charities can use it to manage their CRA accounts, file returns, and make requests like changing a fiscal year-end electronically.
A digital option. RR account.
That's the unique 15-character registration number the CRA assigns to every registered charity. Starts with RR. You need it for almost all interactions.
Okay. Authorized representative.
That's someone officially permitted to act on the charity's behalf with the CRA, usually a director, trustee, or officer listed in the charity's records. They need to sign the request letter.
Got it. Transition period.
We covered this. It's that shorter than 12 months fiscal period, bridging the gap between the old and new fiscal year ends when a change occurs.
And the annual information return.
That's the main report, the T3010, that charities file each year, detailing their finances, activities, governance, etc. It's due within 6 months of the fiscal year end.
Okay. Governing document.
These are the foundational legal documents setting up the charity, like letters patent, articles of incorporation, constitution, trust document, bylaws. They outline the rules of operation.
The internal rule book. And finally, certified copy.
That's an official copy of a document verified as a true and accurate copy of the original, usually certified by a lawyer, notary, or sometimes an authorized official of the charity itself, depending on requirements.
Perfect. That's a helpful glossary. So wrapping this up, it seems clear that while changing a fiscal year-end might feel like just an administrative tweak.
It's actually a pretty important part of staying compliant with the Charities Directorate and maintaining good standing. It touches on core reporting duties.
Absolutely. And Canadian charity and nonprofit law, as we know, can be complex. Attention to these kinds of details is really essential for good governance.
It really is. Getting these administrative pieces right prevents bigger problems later.
And while we've tried to give a really thorough roadmap based on the official guidelines today, there's always that caveat, isn't there?
Yes, the standard but important disclaimer. While this discussion gives you a strong foundation, if your situation has unique complexities or if you're unsure about amending governing documents,
It's always best practice to consult a legal professional who specializes in charity law. They can provide advice tailored specifically to your organization.
definitely a wise move for complex cases.
So ultimately, as you navigate the important work your charity does, remember that taking care of administrative details like the fiscal year end proactively helps ensure everything runs smoothly. It lets you keep your focus where it belongs.
On the mission, on making that impact. That's what it's all about.
Couldn't agree more. Now here's something to think about beyond the rules we discussed. How might a charity strategically choose its fiscal year end in the first place? Or when considering a change? Could aligning it better with major program cycles or annual fundraising campaigns actually benefit the organization's planning and reporting?
Ooh, that's an interesting strategic question. Not just compliance, but optimization. Definitely something worth pondering.